Right. Let's dive into something really special today. We're going deep into San Antonio, but beyond the Riverwalk. We're talking about Black life and culture, the heart of a community that's making itself known, and our guide this time, this awesome issue of Black Life Texas magazine.
And it's more than just a magazine, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look at these. You see the Black Book Directory of Vista Products. This is plugged into something much bigger. This is a network. It's a resource.
Right, right.
It connects you directly to Black-owned businesses, events, the whole nine yards. They're not just reporting on a community. They're building it up.
I'm already impressed, and flipping through it, wow, they've packed a lot in here. You've got these vibrant celebrations of Hispanic Heritage Month, but it's not just that. They spotlight the Afro-Latino contributions, which is really cool. And then right next to, like, a pretty serious editorial about the Israel-Palestine thing, you've got church listings, even a job ad for, what is it, a child development center. It's wild.
It's that everyday life, but with these huge, like, global conversations sprinkled in. It's fascinating. It's like hyper-local meets global.
For sure.
And I think that says a lot about this community. They're celebrating their achievements, yet, but they're also dealing with daily life, and they're not shying away from tough issues, not one bit.
Yeah, they're confronting those issues head on. So where should we even begin? This magazine feels like opening a door to so many different paths. We could unpack all the layers of Afro-Latino identity, we could look at the powerful stuff they're saying about Indigenous Peoples Day, or we could even get into the nitty-gritty of local politics and daily life. What grabs you the most in this snapshot of Black life in San Antonio?
Yeah, you're really drawn to that cultural side, aren't you? Especially the whole Afro-Latino experience.
Yeah, it is fascinating.
And honestly, who can blame you? This article on Afro-Latino heritage, it's really something. It made me realize, like, how much, I don't know, I mean, 130 million Afro-Latinos just in Latin America.
Yeah.
That's a whole world in itself.
It is, and it
Yeah.
really makes you think about how often we kind of forget about these interconnected identities,
Totally.
especially here in San Antonio,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where it's so central to the city itself.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of Central, look at this. They put Celia Cruz right here on the new U.S. quarter.
That's right.
What do you think about that? Is that like a big step for representation, or is it kind of more complicated than that?
I think it's a bit of both, honestly.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see, Celia Cruz on our currency, right? This Afro-Latina icon.
Right.
But it also begs the question of why did it take so long?
Yeah.
And whose stories are we still missing?
That's a great point, which is why I thought this part about Esteban Hotes was so cool.
Yeah.
Dominican-American from San Antonio became a Tuskegee Airman. Talk about unsung heroes.
Absolutely.
I'd never even heard of him before this.
It's amazing how much we don't know.
About these figures. And Hotes's story is especially incredible. He wasn't just a pilot, He was a skilled mechanic and engineer, too.
Wow.
Played a crucial role in keeping those planes in the air during World War II.
Wow. And talk about resilience, right?
Exactly. Facing discrimination and still achieving so much.
And I'm impressed by how much they fit into these short little profiles.
Yeah.
Like take Lorena Borjas.
Oh, absolutely.
Talk about a San Antonio story.
Yeah.
Embodies the whole immigrant experience,
Yeah.
overcoming so many obstacles to make a life here. And then you see her activism for transgender rights.
Right.
It adds a whole other layer to her story.
It shows how intersectional identity can be right. Like, our individual experiences are shaped by so many things. And she was very much a part of San Antonio's Latino community. But she also went beyond that, became a voice for transgender rights nationally, especially for immigrants and those affected by HIV and AIDS.
It's inspiring. But it also makes you wonder, the article really focuses on these amazing people and what they accomplished. But what about the difficulties this community faces within the larger Hispanic world? Are there, like, tensions or issues that the magazine doesn't quite get into?
That's an important point. And it's not talked about enough.
Yeah.
The truth is, within any group, there are going to be different layers of experience.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
While we're celebrating the achievements of Afro-Latinos,
Right.
we also need to recognize that prejudice and discrimination can exist even within communities that share a similar background.
It reminds you that progress isn't a straight line,
Right.
and that even within communities, there's work to be done.
Exactly. And sometimes the most crucial conversations we have are the ones that make us uncomfortable, the ones that challenge what we think we know and help us see things in a new light.
This deep dive has certainly done that for me. Okay, so we've explored this amazing tapestry of Afro-Latino heritage. We were amazed by the sheer size of the community, 130 million just in Latin America. We were blown away by icons like Celia Cruz, whose face is now on our money. We discovered the story of Esteban Hotes, the San Antonio native who became a Tuskegee Airman. And we learned from the incredible life of Lorena Borjas, a true fighter for social justice. But as we move on, I think the most important thing to remember is
that San Antonio story and the stories of its Black community are much richer and more complex than we often realize. It's a city full of unsung heroes, untold stories, and a vibrant cultural legacy that deserves our attention and appreciation in all its fullness.
it really makes you think about all the layers, doesn't it?
It does. And, thinking back to the magazine cover, that image of the UIW versus Prairie View A&M game.
Oh, yeah.
On the surface, just a local sports thing, right?
Right.
But knowing what we know now about HBCUs, about their history, the importance of Black colleges and universities, it's like that image takes on a whole other meaning, like a symbol of resilience,
Yeah.
of cultural pride, this community that fought for education, for representation. It's really powerful.
And that's what I keep coming back to, these layers. Like San Antonio, it's not just one thing. It's these vibrant Hispanic and Latino cultures all intertwined with this incredibly rich and often overlooked Black experience.
And that's what's so amazing about digging into something like this. We started with a magazine, but we ended up somewhere totally different.
Totally.
Uncovering these hidden stories, these complexities that make you question what you thought you knew, it just makes you appreciate this city and its people even more.
It really does. So to everyone listening, as you experience San Antonio, remember those layers. Look for the stories that haven't been told, the voices that need to be heard, and celebrate those contributions from every community, especially those who've been pushed aside for too long. You never know what you might discover. Happy exploring, everyone.